Hey Dub, this is David Aside. Today I want to get into BTS's last live performance, or so everyone is saying, at least their last for a while, when the reunion might be, and I also wanted to talk about V and him shaking and talking about a difficult moment during the Grammys. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on, and let's get into it. If you weren't aware, BTS did perform at the most recent Grammys. Unfortunately, they did not win a Grammy, but they ended up being one of the most talked about performances and acts of that night, which is all way more important than a Grammy. BTS interacted with so many celebrities and so many memes came out, and I think they knew they might not win, so they didn't sit around and wait for an award or seem disappointed when they lost. They seemed to be there just to enjoy the artists perform and just have a good time. Now, every now and then Weverse, which is a company / social media platform that HYBE created, will do interviews with their artists, and these are some of the best interviews that BTS gets or any of the artists in HYBE get, because obviously, since it's likely their own press team doing the interview, they ask real questions and real things ARMY or any fandom wants to know. And the team usually keeps up with what is said online, and of course, any questions they just may have for the boys. Taeyang's interview with Weverse ended up being the most talked about because he was addressing all of the things that happened during the Grammy performance, which shockingly no other press site asked him about. One question that I would have asked him if I was a reporter interviewing him, I would ask how and why did he choose Olivia to do the little skit with in the beginning of the Grammy performance. Nothing wrong with her, but obviously just curious about that. And of course, the Weverse team also asked this question, and to everyone's surprise, V mentioned that he didn't really have a choice, and usually what happens is artists have to get their performances approved by the showrunners and also give some kind of rundown to the cameraman so they know what to focus on and what the artist's marks are so they can be there and get the shot. BTS's team knew that they wanted to have V give kind of a 007 little skit in the beginning, but ultimately V and his team had no option to choose who would be the lady that V flirted with, and the Grammys actually handpicked Olivia for it, which must have been a surprise to her as well. And it seemed like she was literally given like maybe an hour notice or so and was just told to act. Olivia is also a really talented actress. She was on Disney for a long time. She's done musicals and I think Broadway shows as well, so this was likely fairly easy for her. V also mentioned that since they had only a day and maybe another half day to really nail the performance and just everything, none of the members went on stage fully confident. Jin had just had his surgery, so BTS had to do some adjustments to their performances, and they added a scene where they took off their coat and danced with it. But that was never rehearsed before then, and so V was definitely nervous going on stage doing that, and he just didn't feel prepared for the most part of the performance. During the Olivia scene, you can also visibly see that V was nervous when he held up the card and you can see his hand shake, but he didn't show it on his face. He mentioned that he never actually said anything to Olivia, just blah blah blah. I do think it's telling that he said, I think I said blah blah blah, because in a moment of extreme high stress like this, he must have blacked out, and I think a lot of artists talk about not even remembering it, just doing it. And then V also said that in his head, he was counting to make sure he hit the marks, because if he went over, then they would have messed up when they had to go on stage, and when the music started, they would have cut the skit short, and I can imagine it's very anxiety inducing as previously mentioned. They had only a day or so to nail this. Ultimately, V mentioned when it was over, he was just relieved and said that he was glad it was over and he could just relax and talk to the other artists and have fun. We tend to think others who are more successful than us don't really feel anything, that they are just used to it, and we also think that they're not human, but we can very much see in this instance that they're human. If any of us was in this position, we would be shaking as well. You're performing a performance that you're unfamiliar with in front of some of the most famous people in the world, while the whole world is literally watching. Like, I'm amazed they didn't faint. It was very beautiful and refreshing to read about this and see this interview. I think it answered a lot of the speculation that I had for that performance. I put two and two together to say that they likely had only a day or so to prepare, but I didn't know to what extent how little they had to prepare with. I thought Olivia was contacted beforehand, and when V threw the card, Jungkook had to catch it. That wasn't a trick shot. Jungkook actually caught it. Things like that where it's like, oh my god. And two of them literally recovered from COVID like 2 days before the performance. Love this and love the interview. There's just been a lot of speculation online with these things, as well as newer things. People have been talking about this alleged BTS hiatus. However, BTS has literally been screaming and saying that they're not suspending group activity, but just adding solo work. However, I am not entirely sure how they will execute that, so we shall see what happens. BTS was scheduled to perform Yet to Come on Inkigayo, which is a popular Korean program. They also performed for Youth, which I will be reacting to Yet to Come performance on Patreon. I will link my Patreon down below. And ARMYs believe that this was the last performance they will all do together for a while. And so this is definitely very emotional. But maybe this is controversial, but I'm not entirely upset that much. Or of course, I would love to see BTS do more and perform together, but it's not like they won't be together. We're still going to see pictures and videos of them hanging out together. They will still interact online together, and really BTS performances is just one part of what the fandom loves about them. We love watching them individually do live streams and post photos and release mixtapes, and we will still get all that. So honestly, I don't think it's going to feel that different. If BTS members all decide to leave the music industry and retire, then yes, I'll be all tears, I'll be a puddle, but that's not happening at all. And as Hybe said, they will still be doing group activities. During the last bit of the Inkigayo show, the camera pans to each individual member and they all have a moment to interact with the camera. They all give hot and cute faces to each other. They all act very cute. People believe RM looked really emotional. He ended up pulling his hat down to cover his eyes. People think maybe he was crying. However, later J-Hope did end up posting about that bit and was laughing about the poses, so it shows that maybe RM wasn't crying but was just trying to be cute to the camera. But you'll have to let me know if you thought he was crying. Of course, during the Weverse magazine, RM also had a moment to talk about and give his feelings about his career, Grammys, everything. I feel like with the Weverse magazine, the members don't have to feel sad or scared to give their honest and candid feelings. If it comes across bad, and I don't mean actually bad, I mean like if they mention a girl and they accidentally sounded too happy and that's a scandal, the Weverse team can edit that out, whereas they may be less candid about things when speaking with another news reporter because they might be scared that that reporter could either twist things or not edit things out. So with these interviews, it's nice to hear full candid thoughts. RM had a chance to talk about not wanting to be complacent with their career and saying that you can't get to the top and then just stay there and basically expect to stay at the top. People are always moving, and so if you don't move up constantly, you're moving down. There's a lot of anxiety with being an idol, clearly. But the one thing that was interesting was RM talking about BTS needing their message, and RM mentioning how he doesn't know how to be a leader right now, as he doesn't know how to lead BTS right now. Given that he mentioned how he felt BTS has lost their direction, and this doesn't mean he feels the members have lost their direction, but just as a group, they don't know what they want to say anymore. And knowing what you want to say is so important, and when they figure that out, they will come back. So that can be a few years, that could be even 1 year, but something I wanted to add is if you're looking to be successful in any field, the main takeaway you need to know is what problem are you solving? If you look at the most successful people in any industry, they are solving a problem that exists, and when that problem becomes solved by too many people, that's when the relevance fades and it becomes too saturated, too competitive, or starts to become cliche and you're not needed anymore. And so you need to pivot and solve another problem. Olivia Rodrigo is solving this issue of teen music. She's making music that resonates with that crowd, and for a short amount of time, there hadn't been this music with a lot of angst that appeals to that crowd. So she came in and did that and became super popular. Lady Gaga saw a gap in the fact that there hadn't been really popular jazz music in a long time, but of course there are still a lot of people who like this music. So she did that, and now she's super popular and very well respected in that genre. BTS, when they started, did music on mental health, and no one in Korea was doing that, but obviously people were suffering with mental health. And maybe they felt like no one could relate, but then hearing BTS's music, they finally felt accepted. And then when artists start making music like that, BTS moves on as they were not necessarily needed anymore for that. And then they became this representation for Asians, which hadn't existed in America, and there's a lot of Asians here. And all of these things grew their popularity because they constantly kept filling a void that existed that no one else was trying to fill, whether by accident or not, but this is how you remain successful. And this goes for everything. So we can learn from this. Whether you're a businessman, aspiring singer, painter, actor, or anything, you can implement this and we can all learn from BTS. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thank you for this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.